Welcome to another riveting episode of Help. But we are not restarting of the router talk, the boring talk about network speeds and Martin.
Yes. If you thought you were talking about watches, you came to the wrong podcast. Ralph and I spent a good 15 minutes talking about routers before, but we did it off the record, yes. So you guys didn't have to listen to it. I know how much you love listening to tangential off the top, off the main topic talks, but we did it without you guys. And then Ralph messed up the recording, and then we had to start again. And then now we are the second time.
I don't understand why you making these personal attacks.
Accusations.
Here. Yeah.
It was
I didn't do anything. My thing.
You closed the tab.
I closed the tab on my browser, and for whatever reason, my recording device, my Rodecaster Pro Duo, just decided to make a buzzing sound and freeze. Yeah. Anyhow, we are now back on.
All right. So here, we're back in full force. So Ralph has gone on vacation, so he doesn't know about the things I've done.
Oh my goodness.
Maniacal laugh. About watch related while you were gone, because I didn't message you about everything.
Yep.
So essentially, here is what has happened.
What are you wearing first? Let's do that.
First, I'm wearing my Black Bay 54, which now I'm down to 7 watches.
Oh,
and
wait a second. I'm wearing my Grand Seiko high beat. I'm in a high beat mood at the moment. High frequency mood.
I can tell.
I am so wired at the moment because back at work, so much to do. So this is why. This is my.
So you need the second hand to keep up with you.
Yeah, super smooth, super cool, and I love this watch. I missed it on my vacation. So there you go.
I've worn both of my Grand Seikos this week already. So this is what I like. So now 7 watches, 7 days of the week. I don't have to repeat.
Unbelievable.
I don't know if that's cool or not. I have no idea.
Nobody ever thought about this. This is amazing. Like you could do 24 watches because you have 24 hours in a day, but then you have to sleep. But 7 days in a week, that's genius. I mean,
just have 31, one for each day of the month.
You could do that, or you could
365.
Yep, absolutely.
Or on leap years, 366.
What?
Right?
Yeah. And what if you have a leap second? You need another quartz watch.
A leap second?
Yeah, didn't you know? I mean, didn't I tell that in one of the stuff? We have a negative leap. I mean, it's not a leap second. Sometimes they do this because the Earth rotates just a bit wobbly every now and then, right? So it wobbles around the magnetic spin that it has. So usually they need to add a second, right?
That's reassuring. This is planned for, right?
Yeah,
this is not
every couple of years.
Because I just went into a big kind of rabbit hole about the Newton's 3-body problem.
Oh,
are you familiar with it?
Yeah.
So essentially, if even by 1 millimeter, one of the planets in our solar system gets out of whack, 100%, they said 99.9% of the chance, there will be a collision. 1 millimeter out of alignment.
The Earth is just constantly wobbling, so there's a big difference.
Yes, this is different, but because this said essentially, if something, let's say an asteroid comes and plummets into the side of Venus or something, the point is you can very easily model 2 bodies floating in space, right? Because both have gravitational pulls on each other, and they will very quickly go into a rhythmic gymnastics around, kind of in a pattern. But if you throw a third body in there, so 3 different planetary, bodies, you can no longer model what's going to happen. It's going to be erratic. And the fact is, how many bodies do we have in our solar system?
Do you know these little tabletop things that... probably the balls that hang on the wires and go tick, 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 tick.
Yes.
That's very simple. But then there are these ones that turn around and they have like 2 or 3 axes, right? And then they make these erratic movements because suddenly you cannot just predict it anymore. It goes just not in a smooth movement. It goes just completely bonkers.
So strange. Yeah. So, but it's very reassuring that, it just takes 1 millimeter to kill us all.
Okay. But this second that we actually need to do is usually they call it like a leap second. You put it in because the Earth rotates a bit slower than it used to, and that is coming more frequent. They said so every few years.
Great.
Yeah, they actually put this in, but and this is just for nuclear atomic clocks, right? Of course, you need to do that. But at the moment, it was relatively easy because they were adding a second. But this year, for the first time, or next year, sorry, for the first time, they might need to add a negative second. And that is a big challenge because suddenly something can happen twice, right? And we are talking about computers, transactions, and all of the stuff, right? So 1 second is long for computers. A lot can happen in 1 second.
Yeah.
But now they're saying, we have to just shave off a second for the first time in, I think, 70 years since they do it, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Might be weirder.
Y2K all over again.
Maybe we're all scared and then nothing happens. Who knows? Yeah.
Now, all right. Okay. Let me talk about what happened while you were gone, and then I'll let you talk about what happened while you were gone.
Yeah.
So I had a listing pop up on Facebook Marketplace. We know how dangerous of a place that is.
It's a temptation.
This is right after coming off recording our episode on Speedmaster alternatives, right?
Uh-huh.
And one of the watches we talked about was the Longines Avigation Big Eye. And I was like, that's a good looking watch. Yeah. It's a good looking watch. So one pops up on our Facebook Marketplace. Box, papers, everything. Guy wants $7,000. And I'm like, I'll give you $5,000. And then turns out it was Just Andy, who we've dealt with a million times before.
Yes.
And he asked me if I had anything I wanted to trade.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I could trade some stuff. So I traded him the Hodinkee Mercy Field Watch. And we got the price down. I gave him $4,000 plus the Hodinkee,
right,
which I thought was a good deal. It was around $5,500 is what I was into.
It's a good deal for both of you.
Yeah, it was a good deal. Everybody was happy. And then, so I had a Longines Avigation Big Eye, the black dial one.
It's a nice
It was
one.
a fantastic watch. It's a great looking watch. It is a little big. It is all dial, essentially 41 millimeters of all dial, but the lug to lug is only 47.8 or something like this. So it's svelte. Now, you can guess what my issue was with this watch. What do you think? It is powered by a Valjoux 7753.
Okay.
So what do you think my issue was?
The rotor wobble?
The rotor wobble was interesting, but that wasn't a big issue for me. And keep in mind, this was a special movement that they made specifically for Longines with a column wheel vertical clutch that was not in the original Valjoux.
That is the cool thing that they do about this Avigation Big Eye stuff, that they actually, or general Longines, that they have proprietary movements made by ETA for them.
And
they are really good. They are usually quite enhanced. They have extra features, longer power reserve, and whatever. I mean, it's really the stuff that they don't give to other brands. They do for their own brands here, the Swatch Group in general, yeah.
Yeah. So by the way, it no longer is called a Valjoux 7750.
No.
It is called an ETA 7750, which I think is nonsense.
Yeah, well.
But nonetheless.
Valjoux was bought by ETA, so obviously it doesn't exist anymore.
Of course.
Yeah.
But do they still refer to the Lemania movements as Lemania movements, or do they call those?
That's the Breguet movement now, because Breguet bought Lemania. So that everything is in-house, you know?
Meanwhile, I went to see, this is totally aside again. I went to see Mahmoud's new Vacheron.
Oh.
When I bought the laptop from him, and I went to go see his new Vacheron, and it's a beautiful watch, and it fits just the Corne de Vache with the chronograph, and then you turn it over and it's a Speedmaster inside. It's like literally, it looks exactly like the Sapphire Caseback Speedmaster, the 1863 movement. Just, of course, it's got the Geneva whatever seal, but my eyes couldn't tell the difference between the two.
Yeah, what can you do? What
But
can you
anyways,
do?
back to my story.
It is a nice one.
Yes,
so this is by the
Valjoux-
way, this is the Longines caliber L688.5 that you had in your Longines Big Eye. And this is 54 hours of power reserve.
Column wheel
based on the
chronograph.
ETA A08.L01, and it has a silicon balance spring. I mean, this is high tech.
It does,
it's high tech. It has all
and
the nice
a
features.
blued column wheel.
Yeah. I mean,
which
that's
is pretty cool as well.
That's really cool. I mean,
it was a cool watch.
Yeah.
On paper, I loved it. It had 20 millimeter lugs, so it was perfect for straps. But I could not get over the fact that it was 15 millimeters thick with a vertical side. There was no attempt to do anything on that. And it looked like, it was worse than one of the Tudors, right? It was so thick. And I just kept looking down the barrel, of my wrist. And I'm like, eee. But then when you look at it from the top down, it's stunning.
Yeah.
So eventually I'm like, if this is 3 days in and I can't get over this, I'm going to sell it. So I ended up selling it. And then I ended up selling my Hamilton khaki as well. So now I'm down to just 7 watches and I feel
good.
Okay with that. Yeah, I feel fine. So
nice. Yeah,
that's all that happened. So I had a Longines for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I had a Longines for the longest time, the master collection, the full calendar chronograph thing. I miss it still a bit, the 42 millimeter version, but not as much that I have to buy it again. So as it is sometimes. So
I agree.
Yeah, on my vacation, I took 3 watches with me: a G-Shock, the Overseas, and the DUG, my Deutsche Uhrenmanufaktur Glashütte, Purist Type 2. And I only wore 1 watch the entire time.
The G-Shock.
No, the Overseas. So I decided to just wear it. And you know what? In another 2 watch groups that I'm in, I said that I'm going to wear this watch and I can wear it safely because nobody knows what it is. It's a rare watch. I mean, the Overseas is not, except in our watch circles, nobody knows about it, right? I changed the straps though. So friends of mine who saw me over the couple of days, they said like, wow, man, are you sponsored by this brand? Every day you have a different one. And I was like, no, it's the same watch. It's just different straps, right? And they couldn't believe how different it is. Given that came from a person who wears a Seiko 5. So he's not a watch person, right? Then my other friends running around with her, whatever, Daytonas and GMT Masters and Submariners and all of this stuff. And I thought, everybody just wears their watches. Nobody's concerned about watch crime and all of this stuff. So let me just wear my watch. My wife wore her palm dial, fluted bezel, whatever, blingy version of the Datejust 36, right? And we were just fine. Nothing happened. Also in Latvia and Riga, all fine. Never felt anything stupid. And I think I still have my watch, I guess. Yeah. So
good.
Anyhow, so we had a lot of fun with it.
I sent you a video about this, by the way. In London, they started painting lines on the sidewalks, saying to stay 1 meter away from the side of the road because
what is it?
That's when people are snatching watches and phones and stuff.
Mind the grab, I think it was.
Mind the grab is what it said exactly. Which I was like, this is ridiculous. Like I have to say, this is
for these motorbikes or these small scooters that drive past and they snatch your handbag or stuff out of your hand.
Well, this is what we saw with the Bugatti.
The phone, right, out of your hand.
Remember the Bugatti, the guy with the Richard Mille?
Yeah.
And they stole it on a motorcycle scooter off of, and these guys are not having license plates. These guys are, incognito, wearing ski masks. I mean, it's ridiculous.
You always have to be a bit careful. But anyhow, I have really bonded with my Overseas. I really liked it. I really liked changing the straps on it. I only wore it on the bracelet mostly, then on the blue rubber strap and on the white rubber strap that I had. And so really enjoyed it. I mean, I really, really had a lot of fun with it. So, yep. And then for a moment in that trip, I was looking at my watch and thinking, I haven't even taken out my other 2 watches. Obviously, it's stiff competition when you have the Overseas with you, right? But then I thought, maybe I could consolidate more, right? Maybe, I don't need 12 watches in my core collection. Maybe I can also go down to 10 or maybe 8. I don't know. But then I started thinking about the watches I still have, and I was, okay, which one could you sell? Which one can you not sell? And I thought, maybe I should sell the Grand Seikos, both of them. Like the first watch that always goes out of my collection is usually a Grand Seiko.
It's the Grand Seikos. Yeah, but then since I bought back the same two that I had before, I now know that I don't want to get rid of these because I'm just going to end up having to buy them back.
But then I wore this one again here, and also the first day when I came back, I of course wore the SBG N29 because it's the quartz, and it was the only one that's still ticking in my watch box, right? So I wore that, and then now I wore this high beat GMT, and they're so nice. They wear comfortably. Yeah, no, I'm not going to sell this, but I have a problem because a friend of mine bought Daytona in an auction, and I said, okay, if you're bidding on it, I'm not bidding. Was a good price, two-tone, black dial Daytona. And since I don't have a Daytona anymore, I thought that would be nice, good price for it. So I told him, look, if you're getting it and you get bored of it, I'll take it, right? So you definitely have a taker. Can't promise you just right away. Maybe it takes a bit because you need to get the funds, right? The watch budget, I mean. And then, and then of course, after 2 weeks or 3 weeks having this watch, he told me like, so when you want to have it? It's like, what? So quick? So yeah, he sold his AP Royal Oak in order to buy a solid white gold Daytona. Yeah. Mistakes can be made. So I was thinking that is so weird because he somehow, even though he seems to be a bit more on the Rolex focus, right? So he has a lot of Rolexes in his collection. He got a few others then at some stage. Now he's back to nearly all Rolexes. But that Royal Oak, that was a nice one. That was like the, 39, 40 millimeters. Royal Oak, black dial, really lovely watch, and now it's gone. And he sold it, I think, for about 110. So it's like prices are coming down, man.
They are. I was going to tell you this. The Zenith triple calendar from Hodinkee.
Yep.
That I was into, the moon, the meteorite dial, blah blah blah, moon phase triple calendar. I still have a search for that watch on Chrono 24. If you remember, the sticker price was 52,000 dirhams.
Yep.
And everybody has, the people that have listed it for over stickers. So it was around 65,000 dirhams. One was listed yesterday in Japan, 41.
Ooh.
And I'm like, now we're talking,
Slowly
right?
Getting somewhere.
Slowly, yeah.
I heard this recently. A lot of people talking about Zenith and their resale value at the moment. This brand is so beaten up at the moment in a secondary market. It's not funny. I mean, in a bad way for Zenith, in a good way for collectors. But it's wow. I mean, they're really losing strong. I mean, it's like the last to rise are the first to fall, right? Like Gerard Perregaux, Laureatos.
Oh yeah, those. Did you watch Nico put together a video about the watches he lost the most money on, and of course that one was one of the biggest losers.
Yeah,
but because they were so hyped at the time, right?
Yeah, when he bought it, it was very hyped, and you could get it just actually with a premium on the secondary market. It was selling, and you were happy if you got one from the AD. And now it's of course the AD gives you discounts. Same with Zenith. Zenith just doesn't give you discounts.
I tried and they wouldn't give me anything.
That's because they run their own boutique.
Yeah, exactly. So they were like, "Oh, we'll give you 2%," and I'm like, "There's nothing I'm going to do with 2%."
So you can have a very specific credit card here with us that you can get in certain malls up to 6% cashback on your purchases, even if you buy a watch like this, right? So you buy YEMA or something, if you have the right mall and the right shop, then you can just get up to 6% cashback. So you get already that discount if you buy something expensive in a certain extent. Plus the 2, it's 8%, but that's not enough at the moment, right? I have seen people now buying Longines and others for 30%, 35% discount in some of the shops, right? Not all models, of course, but you can get this now. So it really depends what you're buying. Maybe not all Omegas, but for Omega, you also get certain discounts if it's not the hottest model. So yeah, they're back, I would say, the discounts. We will see what happens. I think everybody is just keeping it together, not spending too much on that money.
On watches. Yeah, I guess.
Then before we talk about the other stuff, let's talk a bit about news. I wanted to just share with you these three absolutely stunning new watches from Audemars Piguet. And these are the new 38 millimeter Royal Oaks and the code 1159 perpetual calendars. And one is in rose gold with a rose gold dial. One is in steel with a, light blue dial, or it's not Tiffany, so it's light blue. And I think they're all looking gorgeous. Really, really nice. And for a first time with Audemars Piguet, the entire perpetual calendar can be adjusted via the crown.
Yes.
And what they have done, and then I think I've seen this before they launched it.
But we've heard about this for a while because there was the last Royal Oak that was released with a perpetual calendar had the same, just smaller.
Had the same movement. And I saw this like a on a table, so like a big 1 meter by 1 meter model of the movement. And they showed you how you actually do this. So you pull out it's like a sequence. You pull it out to the first stop, to the second stop, the crown, and then you have different settings there. And when you put it back into the first stop, you have a different setting than what you had when you pulled it out to the first stop in the first place. So if you go to the second and then back.
John Mayer made a video about this.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's very rocket science. It's not, it allows you to do a bit more things than like IWC, where you can only put the date forward and then you're stuck if your child just twisted the crown
messes
15 times or 20 times, then you can only wait for 20 days until the date catches up, right?
Speaking of AP, there were some rumors that were not founded in reality, but essentially the CEO of AP, Elena DiResta, I believe her name is.
Ilaria.
Right? Ilaria, not Elena. Ilaria DiResta apparently has been, quote unquote, has parted ways with AP. And she's only been in that position for a very short amount of time.
2 years.
Very quickly, 2 years, yeah. So AP very quickly came back and said, no, this is not true. This is not happening. But there was a very good comment on our watch group. And somebody said, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure this is exact. So this was a premature leak of.
Let me tell you where this came from. It came from an Instagram handle or a publication. It's a lady who runs it's not just one person. I think it's multiple people, but it's a lady who founded it, Miss Tweed. And a tweed as in the cloth tweed, right?
Married to a Mr. Linen.
Yes.
And her son is Senor
Polyester.
Wool. I don't know. Polyester. I don't know.
And her daughter is called Silk. Silky sweet. So anyhow, so there's this, and she is very clued in. She has contacts to all of the luxury conglomerates and really senior people. So sometimes most of the time, she breaks certain things a day or 2 or 3 before they actually happen, right? So she is well connected. And of course,
but I think that now she broke it. What's going to happen is they're going to push back and say, wait like a month.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, no, this is not true.
It's not true.
And then
they decided, now we decided to do it. Yeah. So she mentioned that because she broke it, she said, we have updated this breaking story that the company has issued a denial. And they basically said, because this is not yet public knowledge and they don't want their employees to know this because that destabilizes the company and its partners. They said, that's it. They haven't made it public. And they have another few clues put in there that, for example, that she joined the board of the Prada Group, which is a bit weird because it's not really a competitor because Audemars Piguet doesn't do fashion and Prada doesn't do watches.
But she also didn't do watches before this.
Yes, she was in the fast-moving consumer goods business, right? So it's, but a good manager is a good manager. So obviously the board of AP thought she is the right person for the job. I cannot judge that. She had big shoes to fill. Benamias is, of course, a very prominent figure. He was everywhere. He was very vocal. He was, he's just like a showman to a certain extent, and has really elevated Audemars Piguet to a level that some people say lost its way a bit, and especially in the end with all of the Spider-Mans and stuff.
But I have to throw this in there. When Benny Amas became the CEO of AP, he had to go around personally, door to door, to all of the dealers in the US. And he said a lot of them physically kicked him out and said, get out of here. We don't want you or your stupid watches. Nobody's buying this crap. Everyone hates you, so forth and so forth. So that's where he started. No one bought AP. No one liked AP, and it was a nothing company. And he took that from that point in the early 2000s to being an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You cannot, and I'm not saying anything bad about his management. I'm just saying he really elevated AP out of the slump, basically. Really made it an amazing brand that is very aspirational for a lot of people. Under him, the new Code 1159 launched. And also, which will still get its position in the lineup, I think.
People hate it less than they did before.
You see the love coming up from a lot of people who really like the new designs and the new watches. So I think it's good. But if you look at the photo when Ilaria Resta was actually, coming in, and you saw how she was dressed and all of the stuff, it was very timid. Right? It looked like, okay, this is a lady who's a bit more on the conservative side of how things go. It doesn't look to me like a lady that would do the next Marvel Comics collaboration, right? It was more like, go back to your traditional values of AP and high complications and great watches and all of the stuff. But I could have been wrong, because now when you see her, obviously her style changed and the way she's dressed and all of the stuff. I mean, even though we shouldn't actually talk about this, how people dress, but same with Benny Amas. It is.
Yeah, he wore nothing but hoodies at the end of his tenure.
And turtlenecks.
Turtlenecks and hoodies. That was it. And I'm just like, it reminded me of the time that Donald Trump's people, what was it, Vance, whatever his name is, the vice president, went off on the Ukrainian president and told him, do you not own a suit? That's exactly how I feel about Benihana, the Japanese grill.
Benihana. Check. Yes. So that was that. I mean, it's definitely a lot happening. And then we heard from a lot of companies nowadays that are struggling a lot in Switzerland, not only with the tariffs, but with general
30%. 39% exactly.
So some companies finding some loopholes, right? For example, Christopher Ward, which is a direct-to-consumer brand. Of course, if you sell direct to a consumer in the United States, the whole percentage of the tariff, has to be paid on the price that you paid for the watch, and this is the whole sales price. If you import the watch to somebody who then resells the watch inside the US, you only pay the tariffs on the imported price, right?
Yes.
The price of the goods that you import. So if you're clever, you just set the price very low, sell the watches to a distributor in there very low, and then you have some kind of kickback or some kind of revenue share, whatever agreement.
Yeah.
So there's some clever tax things that you could do. But so they actually went from charging the entire amount to just charging a tiny amount, or not anymore any amount of extras for the tariffs, which is pretty good because it's a big market. On the other hand, and that's what I wanted to ask you, George Kern has come out and said, well, we have to charge a higher price, seeing how it goes eventually. And we will not do this just in the US, because we don't want to just have a higher price in the US. We will increase the prices globally by 6% to compensate for the tariffs in the US.
So let me get this straight. Poor Americans, tier, has to get taxes, so therefore we make everyone pay more.
Self-inflicted taxes. So they tax themselves, right? The Americans create a tax on themselves, and then we have to pay for this. Have to pay more money so that Breitling
that I don't buy Breitling.
So that Breitling makes still the same amount of profit. I said, not going to happen.
But I have to say, I do have to say that this will be present in a lot of companies. This will be present with Apple. This will be present with Rolex, because these are the two companies that are known historically to have equal prices across the board in all countries.
They harmonize
in order to prevent. They don't want arbitrage, right?
Exactly.
So this means if they're having these prices included in Rolexes or Apple products or whatever, then that means we are also likely to see a similar increase.
But I must really say that I really just don't like this. I think these tariffs generally will not last anyways for a very long time. Either the courts will rule that they are illegal, but this is, there's a lot of things that are still very, very unknown of how is this going to play out. But it's unsustainable to have such high taxes, import duties on anything, right? So. Yeah, we will see how that works. I mean, look, in the European Union, for example, has 17% import duties on electric vehicles from China. We here in the UAE don't have these taxes, and as you can see, the prices for these Chinese EVs are really, really competitive. You can't get an EV from any other brand for that price.
You can get an EV now for 100,000 dirhams.
Yeah, and they are pretty good.
And it's a BYD, the cheap little BYD thing, and it looks pretty decent.
I drove in one to the airport. It was a BYD Han. That's the top model.
I think that's the big one.
Yeah, that's the top. It looks slightly bit like a Panamera.
I mean, I still maintain that BYD is the stupidest name ever to exist.
Bring your device.
Build your dreams.
Yeah, okay. But the point is, it's a government-owned company, and these in China, and these are absolutely competitive cars. I mean, I sat in this car. I had very high quality. I touched every surface I could get my grubby hands on. And I had seat heating, seat cooling in the back, and of course in the front. And you have all of this luxury in there. And you think, wow, for a price of just the price of a Model 3 Tesla, you get
which is the cheapest
top model of this
Tesla.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I do have to say that the Chinese need to employ a Westerner to help them name stuff, because that is where they are. Like, I just got so one of my neighbors got something.
What do you mean? Xiaomi is a bad brand?
No, Xiaomi. I mean, like Xiaomi, at least like it's Xiaoyu. It's not as bad, but like when we see the GAC, and I'm like, okay, it's GAC maybe, I don't know, but then the model that my neighbor got is the MPOW. So it's a GAC MPOW.
GAC MPOW.
What the hell is a GAC MPOW? And the funny thing is, get this, it came new. I looked it up, 99,000 dirhams. It's a quote unquote sports sedan, very similar to, for instance, a Audi S3 sedan kind of size, styling. Came with Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. And I'm just like amazed that, well, even the Chinese car companies don't put Chinese tires on cars, which tells you everything you need to know about Chinese tires. But secondly, that's a lot of money. Those are, depending on size, a couple thousand a pop.
Yeah. I mean, it's
you're saying like a tenth of the price of the car is the tires.
Yeah, it's scary. My sister wants to buy a new car in Germany, and she wants to buy an Audi A1. This is not even available here, but it's a small, like the Polo.
Yeah,
right?
I like those.
It's a very nice car, 100 horsepower, no hybrid, no nothing. It's just a normal car. And you can get half a year old cars with very little mileage from the dealers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these, what they call whatever. I don't know what they're called here, but this is like dealer cars that were demo cars or something.
Demo cars,
1,000, 2,000 kilometers on it. And they're selling them for about 22,000 euros. Mm-hmm. But you think about this, you get nice extras, but it's just a normal, in brackets, engine in it, right? And then here, for the same price, you would get the very nice full EV or very nice hybrid from the other brands for the same price. So it's, and new without even having a demo car.
No, it's funny that you mentioned this because my parents, my mother wants to buy an SUV, quote unquote SUV.
Of course.
And she sends me like a list and I'm just like, oh my God. She's like looking at
let me guess. Bentayga, Cayenne.
Yeah, exactly. No, try the opposite end of the spectrum. It is she sent me the Mazda CX-30, the Honda HRV or whatever it is, the small one, and so forth and so forth.
The HRV is the big
No, the HRV is smaller than the CRV. ZRV is the biggest.
No.
CRV is the middle, and HRV is the smallest.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am.
Because I think
I spent some time looking this up.
I think the HRV was the bigger one.
No, it was the smaller one.
Okay.
And the CRV was the big one. Now, it always was. But anyway, I look up the price in America for these, and I nearly like my jaw dropped. They call them super compact SUVs, and they're roughly the size of a Volkswagen Polo, and they're lifted by like 3 centimeters, right? And they call them SUVs. All of them are front wheel drive. There's nothing SUV about them. And I look at the prices and they're all like 30,000 euros.
Yeah.
And I nearly like spat out my coffee thinking, what in the hell are they thinking? So I did a little bit of searching.
Yeah.
And just like your sister found, I found the exact same thing. I found a demo.
Yeah.
900 miles it had on it.
Yeah.
Subaru Outback. And not even the base model. It was the limited trim. It was a 2025 for the exact same price as a freaking mini whatever the hell, right?
Yes, and that is a proper 4x4. It has a proper 4-wheel drive, the Subaru Outback.
Yes.
And it's Subaru owners seem to be like one of the most happy car owners.
Exactly. So I said, this is, but what I liked about it is it doesn't look like a SUV. It's still got the wagon styling.
Yeah.
But if you look at the ground clearance, it's still the same ground clearance as the Subaru SUVs that they're making as well, and significantly higher than these SUVs my mother was looking at, right?
Yeah.
So it just makes no sense to me why.
I mean, to a certain extent, the Subarus you don't really buy with your heart. You buy them with your calculator, right? Because with your head, more or less, because that's where... Yeah, they're not...
It's a cool-looking car. I like it.
Yeah, it's the Outback in green. We have this off-road package here that we can look at the moment. So it looks cool. Yeah. But that's what I told my sister. If you want a car that lasts forever, you buy a Toyota Yaris or something, right? Or
and once
Mazda
again,
CX2
no hybrid, no nothing. It's a Boxer 2.5 liter Boxer engine, no turbo, no nothing. And I'm like, this thing is going to last forever.
Yeah, that's true.
And one downside, it is made in America.
And by 2025, 2035, there will be in the European Union at least, apparently still, haven't changed this yet, no more combustion engines in the, pure combustion engine cars being registered.
Yeah.
So that means you have 10 years, buy your car now. What you're going to do with it later, I don't know. Will the resale prices go down, go up? But who cares after 10 years?
So they cannot force people to sell their cars. What they can do is not allow you to drive it in certain areas. And that's most likely what they're going to do.
Or just say that you can't register a new car with this. You can still sell it. Or you can still use the existing stock until they all die eventually, right? But yeah.
This is what we would hope.
But who knows? Yeah. There's two more watches that I wanted to show you, which I thought... I never thought I would ever say I like a watch from this brand. So, and that is this...
Girard-Perregaux.
No, I have a Girard-Perregaux. No.
God, a Gerald Charles.
Gerald Charles. And then this is the integrated bracelet one. And I think slowly...
You like it?
Slowly, they're getting... I like it. It's my favorite of Gerald Charles. That still doesn't mean that I'm a big fan, but... I think
so weird.
With this integrated
so by the way,
wait a second, that's the Masterlink. It's called Masterlink. And that is integrated bracelet. And it does look much better than the other ones. It still is for me a watch that you think is a run of the mill. I mean, that shows that Gerald Genta also had a few duds that he, designed. And if you look at the new designs of Gerald Genta that are coming out, right? The new watches. There's in his company there are a few of these new designs. I would say it's this one, for example, the burgundy, and it comes also in. I mean, look at it. How can you? This is the Gentissima Ursin Fire Opal in orange, radiating energy. It's let's say flamboyant, but I always think like, okay, what were they thinking? At least it's very legible. That you cannot,
I know. I like the orange diamond things, whatever those are.
I have
the glass,
the nipples here that are around there. I don't know what it is, but it's weird.
I think for a lady's watch, that's a very cool looking watch. Funnily enough, the guy that bought my Longines, he showed up in a red BMW X6M to my house, and he was wearing a Ulysse Nardin skeleton tourbillon with a rubber case and a diamond baguette bezel. And he was telling me that, when Ulysse Nardin made this, they wanted to include the softest materials and the hardest materials. So it was a rubber strap and a rubber clad case, similar to the APs. And then they had a full baguette diamond bezel. And I'm just like, this was nuts. And I was like, you were in no position to negotiate on this watch.
Yes, sorry. Now you sound like,
I can't let it go for anything less.
Yeah. No, that's not going to happen.
No, he also showed up with, I think it was 7 speeding tickets on the way because he didn't realize how much the speed limit was on the way to a lane.
Ooh.
He thought it was plus 20 still.
No.
And in Abu Dhabi, we don't have plus 20. So he shows up and he showed me his phone and it was like bing, 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 like 7 in a row.
Yeah, and they flash from the back. So
so he did not notice. Yeah,
that was an expensive trip. The next watch that I really like and I always liked was the Hermes H08. That is one of my, I think it's a beautiful watch. I looked at it in the Hermes boutique a few times.
Yes, I was with you, but here's the
titanium. Thing. It's nice.
But here's the thing about this one, which, by the way, the titanium one was already made for the Hodinkee limited edition as well.
Yeah, not in this color thing.
No. Yeah, it was in a different colorway. Yeah. It was like a brownish, tannish colorway for Hodinkee. But here's the thing. I, as a man, even though I like this watch, I don't see myself being able to pull off an Hermes watch because I feel like in order to buy a watch, you have to have an affinity for the brand. And I don't think, I love Hermes bags, women on women, right? I'm not going to have one myself, but like, I love the history of the Birkin and the Kelly and it's cool.
I saw a few in Germany.
But
from ladies.
Yeah, they're super cool.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to, I don't have any of those. So, why would I want to watch from them, right?
No, I think
I
do have Hermes shoes. I have Hermes belt. I do have
if you do, then it's fine.
That's it, I think. Yeah, not much.
Yeah, but it's still you have to. I feel like you have to support the brand a little bit, and since I don't have anything from them, I don't know.
The first toe in.
Yeah, but that's also like I bought the only thing that the Hermes boutique would sell me.
Oh no.
I couldn't get my wife the Kelly. I couldn't get a Birkin, so I bought a watch.
No. But you can't get this anyways in any Hermes boutique until you buy a lot of other stuff before you buy the Kelly and the Birkin. So the point here is, this is a beautiful watch, no matter which brand it is. It's a very beautiful watch, but with the Hermes tie-in with Parmigiani Fleurier and all of this stuff and Vaucher. And this is a great design, and they have their own watchmaking factories. They are doing good stuff. So yeah, it's a good watch with a great movement. And I think these Hermes watches are really, really nice. But I would buy it pre-owned. Because then you can buy a slightly beaten up version of this for half the price, at least.
I agree.
So, what else is on the menu for today?
I don't know. What else do you want to talk about? No. We only talk about cars and routers and.
Yeah, I had this discussion in when I saw the YouTube video from Constant Time. This is like Constantine, written with a C, Constant Time. I think it's a Spanish guy who's doing a nice watch podcast, and he talks about this. And he has a lot of these community polls that he does. And he's asking, hey, if it's robustness or accuracy, what would you choose, right? And these are always quite interesting, especially if you see the results. Yes, it's a relatively small sample size because his followers he's not that popular yet. I hope he will get more popular. But yeah, you can see that this is interesting results. For example, with this whole robustness versus accuracy, 70% shows robustness, which I think makes sense if you have to choose between the two. But on the other hand, I think if you're really into, let's say, watches, then accuracy also has a place, right? Because I always feel if you really want an accurate watch, right? Then you buy a G-Shock that syncs with your phone, or a GPS watch that syncs with the GPS satellite, which is always correct anywhere of the world, like the satellite wave from Citizen or so. Or you buy if you don't want anything assisted quartz, you buy a Citizen Chronomaster with a plus minus 1 second a year and a solar, echo drive in it. So there is precision has been solved, right? You can buy a watch that is as precise as nearly an atomic clock from 100 years ago. Okay, 50 years ago. But my point there is, we still want a mechanical watch that is more precise. We're still chasing this, right? Because there's more and more standards. There's this, because precision is also, I think, for us, another, notch or what do you say, thing in the crown. You said it's like another piece of the crown.
No idea.
So another thing that is for us important as watch collectors, as a sign of quality and a sign of care and a sign of really great engineering. If you see the new Rolex.
Yeah, because you don't have to make it that good, right? Yeah. So Rolex has always been doing this with superlative chronometer. They were one of the first, I guess, doing this kind of stuff. But you look at other watch brands and you look at the deviation that they have. Grand Seiko, for instance, right? Plus minus, 10 seconds or something on the Grand Seikos that are not the top end, the mechanical ones, right? Not the spring drive. And that's kind of crappy, right? For all intents and purposes, that's not very good at all. But of course, they are running well beyond that.
Yeah,
but I think they're just trying to cover their asses and say, "Oh, well, this is what we."
I think it's still for us watch nerds. It's still important. For everybody else who doesn't care, he buys a watch because it looks nice. I know people who put their watch on and they don't even set it because for them it's just the watch and how it looks.
Well, not just that. You have the other people that are just literally have one watch. They wear the watch 24/7 every single day. I had one of these the other day, comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, I like the watch you were wearing the other day." And I'm like, "Am I supposed to know which watch that is?" And I asked him which one? And he didn't understand why, because who would have more than one watch?
Yes, exactly.
Right. And he was so stunned by the fact that I said which one that he was totally taken aback. So these people, they don't care. They want robustness.
Yeah. Yeah, but on the other hand, look, Rolex has researched and developed and put their engineers and scientists on it for 10 years to get the new 7135 movement there. I mean, 7 patents only on the escapement. So there is so much of thought has gone in that, not only to produce the watch, but also to make it serviceable, to make it mass product or just production ready, which is also not easy. And so they have spent so much money and
it's
so much time.
It's such a shame, though, they didn't put 10 people for 10 years to make it look good.
The movement.
No, the watch itself.
Well, that's a different story. If you like the Land Dweller, yes
it's
or no.
as if they built this movement They built the movement 10 years. They're working tirelessly on this movement. And then like Watches and Wonder comes and like, shit, we haven't got a case for it. Like somebody think of something quick. Like, I got this oyster quartz lying around.
Yes, let's put it in. Let's put the Explorer dial on it. Yeah, okay, cool. I heard hobnail is cool. Let's put a hobnail dial on it.
Hobnail Explorer dial in an oyster quartz case.
And then all of the stuff. But check out Constantine. He's a great guy. He does interesting. He has 2,300 subscribers. So it's really good stuff.
Almost just like us.
Yeah,
we have about like 45
on
YouTube.
What? Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah,
we don't make YouTube videos.
We have
right?
way more than that if it comes to our downloads. But of course, subscribers here, that's a different story. If we are more popular in the podcast, in the podcatchers.
Speaking of I did want to mention this.
Yeah.
I got some great comments. I'm going to read them out to you.
Okay.
On our YouTube. We rarely get comments on our YouTube. Once in a while, I had one just the other day. He was asking a question whether we're going to get a video for the Mahmoud one. So I didn't tell them that we ran out of credits or time or whatever for videoing, but I told him that every video we will try to do, if we have a guest, we will try to make a video of it. But on the fake, we made an episode a while ago about fake watches. Okay, not so long ago. We call it the horological equivalent of automotive up-badging, is what we said. And there were 4 people that commented on this. See if you can tell a trend, okay? The first one, still think reps are cheap fakes? Zeta clone movements are Swiss ETA clones. Good luck telling the difference. 26 likes. So, next one. My friend Zeta clone Submariner fooled a Rolex AD. If that doesn't prove how good they are, I don't know what will. Next one. Fun fact. Most genuine Rolexes you see on wrists are actually Zeta clone super reps. The rich have known this for years. Next one. All of these are, by the way, different accounts. Zeta clone doesn't just copy Rolex, they perfect it. Their attention to detail is so precise, even experts need a loop to spot the difference. So, first and foremost, apparently we're supposed to have trouble telling the difference between an ETA clone and a Rolex movement is what the first comment implies. But the fact is, like, why? Why would somebody go through the hassle and then 26 times liking it with different accounts?
It's all bots. So there's nobody actually doing this anymore, right? I mean, this
ridiculous.
Nobody physically doing that. Or they do this like with the Mechanical Turk from Amazon, where they actually just get people to do that.
Get people to do it.
Click farms and all of this stuff. But, this is the thing. I mean, obviously, if you are selling super reps and clones, you really just need to sell them somehow and just make people feel good about it. Because in the end, everybody who buys a clone or a replica or fake, they know that they have a fake. They try to put, feathers on them that they don't have, right? Or they don't have the money for or whatever.
Yes.
So you are trying to just decorate yourself with something that just is fake. And that's why these videos and all this stuff are trying to make people feel good about this fake shit, right? It's not. I do understand that.
So please enlighten me. In what scenario did somebody with a Zeta clone walk in to a Rolex AD and they said, yes, this is definitely authentic? I mean, the sheer audacity of this is ridiculous. Of course it never happened. I mean, I don't know how many Rolex ADs they have in Guangzhou, China, or wherever they're pumping these out. But
I must say, these replicas are becoming dangerously close. And this is always this argument from people saying like, yeah, just because they can copy it perfectly, the original is not worth it anymore. And that's where I say like, what are you saying? Just because somebody just makes a Coca-Cola that tastes exactly like the original is still the original, right? It's the copy is still the copy. So there is no innovation except that they're caught up after 50 years to make the same watch, right?
Yeah. They're not going to make anything better, right?
It's still, and you're still ripped off and stole all the intellectual property and all the ideas and all of the stuff from somebody else.
And we're not talking small money. These are still $1,000 roughly, right?
Yeah, at least, the good ones, yeah. And so, because it costs money. Does it cost money for Rolex when they sell a watch that's 20,000? Does it cost Rolex 20,000 to make? No. But if you look for example, this movement, the 7135, they say if you develop a normal movement, you spend between 1 to 3 million euros or Swiss francs for the development of it. And that's a normal movement. But now look at these Rolex movements that are superlative chronometer with 5-year warranty, with 10-year service intervals, all of this stuff. You don't get this designed for 3 million euros. This cost Rolex, I don't know, probably in the tens of millions until they got that, right? And they got this watch somehow ready. Oh, this movement, sorry, not the watch. So I think this is really, you have to, sometimes think about it. This is not just silly stuff. And this movement, until this is being cloned, will take forever, because they have done femto leather polished balance wheels and the anchors and whatever and what have you. There's so much stuff on it, highly polished ceramic, and things you can't just copy, right? And this is why I think you still have these companies leading the way, and then all the fakers just following and copying.
Yeah. I agree.
So
I agree.
But rant over.
Anyway, all right. I think
we got it.
That has been a decent sized episode for you guys. A welcome back from Ralph, because we haven't recorded in a while, and we hope to see you all next year. Oh, by the way, I have to tell them, I was told something. Apparently, I was told off for this. I've been saying I hate certain watches, or this watch is the ugliest thing I've ever seen too frequently. So I have to be nicer, is what I've been told.
See, I think that whoever told you that is right, because you cannot like something. Then you just say, well, it's not my cup of tea.
I deeply despise this with the fire of 1,000 suns.
Burn it with fire. Yeah, but on the other hand, it's just, as they say.
I think my taste is very
nice
narrow.
To say,
and
say nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then we wouldn't have a podcast.
True, as well. Okay.
So on that bombshell, we will see you guys next week.
Bye-bye. Bye.